Hello, everyone. Clive Adams here, and we thought it had been a while since we caught up with Bowls Australia CEO Neil Dalrymple. We thought it was a perfect time to do so. G'day, Neil. How are you?
Good, thanks, Clive. How are you?
Good, thank you. Before we get into it, of course, we do acknowledge that it is NAIDOC week, and we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we're meeting today, and we acknowledge elders past, present, and emerging. It's Neil, we've got lots of exciting things to talk about, but we need to start with a couple of somber issues. Firstly, the passing of Bob King, a Bowls Australia Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no, Bob was. I met Bob at when he was first inducted at the Bowls Australia Hall of Fame. Look, he's got a magnificent list of achievements in the sport, and clearly, one of the great players. Played for Australia. Represented his state, and obviously locally was just won lots of events. And I'm sure I saw a few comments on Facebook, and no doubt his family was very proud. And you just can see from the amount of I suppose comments that have been made by his club, by the state, now by national, that this is it's clearly a very sad passing, but an absolute great contribution to the sport of bowls in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, and our thoughts go out to his family and friends. Bob King, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Now, Neil, we've also got some. We've seen the terrible pictures, and people are living it. In New South Wales with the awful floods that are happening again. It's been a tumultuous time for some of our clubs in that area, and I know there's already some applications coming through for disaster relief, but. Tell us about some of the things. We know Wiseman's Ferry, and we know Camden have gone under for the third time in just a short space of months. It's terrible stuff.
Well, it's horrific, isn't it? And to think, once is bad enough, but then second and third time is just extraordinary. And I think we probably all thought that the weather that we've been getting along the east coast, particularly around New South Wales and Queensland, that was past us. But then again, the last week or so, it's all happened again. And all we can do is support the people that have suffered so badly, and those bowling clubs that have suffered, and that's where the disaster relief fund hopefully does kick in and help these clubs to somehow get back on their feet. And just in the last week or two, we've had another couple of applications. Lismore, as we know, was impacted significantly. A couple of the clubs there have applied, and we'll be processing some payments very soon. And over the last few months, unfortunately, the disaster relief fund is been paying out, and I think from Bowls Australia's point of view, just getting those funds out there to support the clubs at a time of need is really important. So a shout out to anyone who can donate and certainly contribute to the fund, because the money does go 100% goes out to these clubs in distress. And again, it's unfortunately we're not past the worst of it, I don't think, Clive. So stay tuned. We're ready to assist wherever we can.
Yeah, certainly for those clubs that are out there and finding themselves in some trouble, certainly talk to your regional bowls manager, get in touch with whoever it is that's looking after that particular area, and they can direct you in the areas where you can find some assistance, or even if you just want someone to talk to about the events that have gone on, and you need someone to have a listen. It's tough times out there. Neil, we will move on to some brighter moments, and it has been.
Thank goodness.
Yes, it has been a wonderful time in terms of events. Over the last 6 to 7 weeks, we've seen the BPL, we've seen a Trans-Tasman in very different conditions to what we're used to seeing, and then we've had a record-breaking Australian Open. It's been a great few weeks in that regard.
No, absolutely, Clive, and it's been great to see people again, and it's felt like we haven't met a lot of our friends out there in the bowls world and in Australia for some years, and to really see multiple events on the national stage has been fantastic. I think. What pleases me is certainly the great television that we've been able to produce, and some of the fantastic matches that we've seen played both in the BPL and during the Australian Open. And look, some of the colourful characters too. Particularly in the Australian Open, it was great to see the the women's pairs, and I watched again the speech that the lady made, and what what excitement, and what a great story. And so yeah, fantastic to see people get through to the final and win some money, but then some of the games that we saw are high quality competition. Jackaroos at the pointy end, but it's also great to see people coming through, making their way through what is a very large draw at the Australian Open. And look, the weather couldn't have been any better. I was there for the second week, and it was absolutely stunning. And look, a shout out again to our host clubs. I'll mention them: Club Pine Rivers around the BPL. Mount Tambourine did an extraordinary job. I met their greenkeeper and their manager at a function recently, and I mean, that's just so good support that we've received from a small club like Mount Tambourine. That's just fantastic. And then all the clubs on the Gold Coast that have been hosts for the Australian Open, they've just, they've made what is now just a universally a huge event, probably the biggest open event in the sport across the world. And what a great time it was at the Australian Open on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, real shout out to the clubs, because it wasn't, you'd probably say the lead up to the event probably wasn't the greatest conditions in terms of getting the greens ready, and a lot of the clubs had to work really hard to get their greens prepared. And I can certainly speak from a Ringside Live point of view. If people want to go back and watch those matches, which you can via the Bowls Australia Facebook page, if you watch one match, watch the men's multidisability singles final, because it was one of the best matches I've ever been involved in terms of the streaming that we've done. A brilliant finish and a wonderful quality match that just summed up what the Australian Open had achieved over the fortnight up there.
It's great, Clive.
Neil, we start to look ahead, and boy, oh boy, are we getting excited. The Commonwealth Games. I know you're heading over there very shortly, and we can't wait to see what our Jackaroos can come up with. You mentioned the preparation up at Tambourine in the slower conditions, where our Jackaroos handled it brilliantly. We can't wait to see what they can come up with over there.
No, look, it's I mean, for a sport like bowls, Clive, where the Commonwealth Games is really a pinnacle event. We've got the World Championships, obviously is a larger event because obviously more countries are a part of that event. But you put the Com Games, it's a multi-sport event. It's a bit different from our bowls only World Championships. So yeah, there's a lot more activity. There's probably some more distractions. There's players are in the village. They're mixing with other athletes. So it's and then unfortunately we still got COVID kind of hanging around there too. So that could, who knows what that could play. I mean, our Australian team is being very, very careful, and probably fortunately most of them have had COVID, but then again, people are getting it for the second time, as we know now. So there's a whole lot of elements, and then throw in the conditions, as you've said. This is, for me, having been to a number of Commonwealth Games, unfortunately, most of the venues we go to, the greens are generally not that favourable to Australian conditions. And the Gold Coast was certainly the exception. If you look back in history, Commonwealth Games was here in 2006 in Melbourne, where I am right now, and the greens have always been kind of a bit dodgy, and very dodgy at the moment. 2010, Delhi was just really tricky. I was talking to Wayne Turley the other day, and we just recounted the challenges of those greens. They were uneven. They had sand. There was heat. There were these bugs hanging around. I mean, it was probably the worst conditions. I know. And just going back a step, Malaysia in 1998 was very challenging. I mean, they were new greens and, again, uneven and very challenging. Then take us to...
You can't forget the rain of 2002 in Manchester as well, Neil.
Well, there you go. And so slow conditions again. So, yeah, we've probably covered, 98, 2002, 2006. Done 2010. 2014 was in Glasgow, really challenging. Probably similar conditions that we're going to find ourselves in Birmingham, or as we know at Royal Leamington Spa. And then, of course, we had the fantastic games on the Gold Coast in 2018. So here it comes. We come to Leamington Spa in just near Birmingham. And is it going to be, are we well prepared? Yes, we're well prepared given circumstances around COVID and the ability to prepare. Gary Willis and his team have got the team selected and ready to go. And yes, the conditions will be foreign, they'll be tough. You're just adapting on the day is going to be really important. I mean, for me, there's not much I can do now. I'll sit and cheer and hopefully try and put off the opposition bowlers, but no, I won't do that. But I did say that to someone the other day, and I had to remind it was a joke. But look, it's exciting. I mean, okay, can we get, gold medals are hard to come by. Let's be frank. In the Northern Hemisphere, for the Southern Hemisphere countries, can we win some gold medals? Yes, we can. How many are we going to win? Hard to predict. Can we win a couple? That would be great, I think. So, and medaling across, the silver and the bronze as well. We've got the para disciplines. We have an extra discipline. So there's the 11 medals up for grabs across the bowls competition. So, look, we're well prepared. We're a strong nation, and again, there'll be some luck required, and the competition will be hot. It's open to all countries around the world, the Commonwealth countries. So you'll get some minnows that will be there, and minnows, as we saw it in on the Gold Coast, they can take it up to the bigger countries. So you can't let your guard down. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, and hopefully green and gold, we'll see some people up on the podium, and we'll bring some medals home after the Com Games. But yeah, it will be an exciting event for sure.
I'm sure Bowls Australia will have heaps of coverage of the bowls in terms of reports and things like that. Can't do any streaming or anything like that because
No.
the rights, of course, belong to the host broadcaster. But let's hope that we're not quite clear on that coverage at this stage, are we, Neil? But hopefully we'll have some great coverage of the bowls. And hopefully there'll be some sort of dedicated channel. Hopefully.
Yeah. And we'll do our best through. I mean, Lockie Williams from our office is going to be over there on the ground at the venue. So. But as you say, there are restrictions. We have to remember this is not a Bowls Australia team. This is the Australian Commonwealth Games team, of which Bowls is part of. So we are certainly our activities and I suppose our ability to cover is limited to some degree. Val Febo, who works alongside you on Rinkside Live, as well is over there and is part of the Commonwealth Games media team. So. With Val and Lockie, we'll provide as much content as we can and as much coverage back through the Bowls Australia platforms and keep people informed. We really hope our broadcast Channel 7 gives us good coverage. Of course, the timing or the time frame could be difficult in some cases. If we're playing in the evening, it'll probably means it'll be on in the morning. Or something like that. Yeah, if it's on in the morning, it'll be late at night in Australian time. So hopefully it's it's probably a bit like watching Wimbledon at the moment. You'll probably be watching a bit of it late at night. So I just hope we get a good coverage because I know we there's a lot of focus on swimming and athletics. It would be great to see bowls. I think we contributed, Clive. I think we were the third or fourth best performed sport of the Australian Commonwealth Games team in terms of number of medals at 2018. So, that's hopefully a good guide to say, get the cameras on our bowlers and let's bring some of that coverage back to Australia.
Excellent, well said. Maybe check your local guides on when you can watch it. All right.
And then,
the next big event on the Australian calendar, Neil, the Australian Indoors, is going to be a big one. That one, it's a supersized event. It's double the size than it is normally, and it always provides wonderful quality of bowls, doesn't it, the Australian Indoors?
Yeah. And look, a great host in Club Tweed. They've been our host for many, many years now. I think it's over 20 odd years. It's an institution at Club Tweed. I should make sure that Tweed Heads Bowls Club is now rebranded as Club Tweed, and great plans, great management, and Wayne Turley there heading up the bowls section. And so we know that we've got a great host club and the facilities are always spectacular. And looking forward to seeing what the coverage that we can come out of that. And of course, a bit like the Australian Open, Clive, you sometimes get a bit of a wild card making it through. So look forward to seeing that.
Could be up to 14 hours of live streaming on the first couple of days on each of those days, Neil. It looks like it's going to be a really massive event, and maybe we get a few comments on our Rinkside live streaming about not having time to do the work around the house. Maybe get that done in the week before, I think. All right.
Very good. Very good.
Also for those high achievers out there, the awards night, the nominations are open for all of the various awards. Some obviously for the elite athletes in the sport, and others out there at clubland and in the volunteer space.
Yeah, no, please encouraging anyone watching this today to put a nomination in for one of the awards, which obviously the information is available on our website. In addition to that, Clive, this year there'll be some Hall of Fame inductions and potentially some elevation of Hall of Famers to legend status. Stay tuned. That's going to be very exciting. We can't wait. That just adds to the night. There'll be as you say, the regular awards will be awarded, and but then with the Hall of Fame, that's just makes it even more special. And we're looking, that function will be in early October on the Gold Coast. We're just waiting to secure a venue, which will happen soon, and more details to come. But yeah, suffice to say, that'll be held during the Nationals too. So for those people who are attending the Nationals, there'll be an opportunity to certainly buy a ticket and come to what will be a very, very special night.
Great to have the awards night back as an event. We've done it virtually a little bit over the last couple of years, haven't we? So it'll be fantastic to have everyone in the room. Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
All right, Neil, look, thank you very much for your time as usual. Enjoy your trip over there and cheer loudly for the Aussies. Let's not worry about putting the others off, but cheer loudly for the Aussies, and hopefully it's a massive medal haul for Australia at the Commonwealth Games, not only in bowls, but right across the Commonwealth Games.
And we're looking forward. Yeah, there's a few family members going, Clive. So yeah, I think there'll be a small contingent of green and gold. We hope to see big crowds there. I mean, I think I'm pretty optimistic that there'll be good support. There'll certainly be lots of support for the home nations. So, and they'll have, I'm sure, good crowds to support. So yeah, we might be the minority, but we'll cheer loudly and wear our colours proudly.
All righty, there you have it. For all your bowls information, head to bowls.com.au or check out the social media channels for Bowls Australia, and they'll keep you right across, even ways to watch the Commonwealth Games. I'm sure that Bowls Australia will be right across that and let you know. Thanks very much, Neil.
Thanks, Clive.
Thanks, everyone. Catch you next time.